Hey guys, today I am finally cutting into my sheet of Opus stone paper. So my first impression of this paper is that it's a bit of a Yupo substitute, and a lot of people will use alcohol inks on Yupo because of the non-absorbent surface, so I'm gonna try that a little bit. I'm really bad at alcohol ink paintings, and I think my issue is that I use too much ink, so I'm gonna try to do a slightly better job this time. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to talk about this paper a little bit more. So Yupo is a plastic surface that people use for their alcohol ink art, but it's still kind of messy and difficult to work with for me. Now, the difference between this stone paper and Yupo is that this one is more designed for art applications. It is actually literally stones ground up into dust and then mixed with resin. But also they claim that it is non-yellowing, which means they must use like an art resin or something in this product. That's the biggest thing that turned me off from Yupo, actually, is the fact that it does not claim to be non-yellowing, and why should it be? It's meant to be used for like temporary projects and scans and prints and things that aren't meant to last for a long time. But if you are a fine artist who has been playing with Yupo and want something that isn't going to turn yellow if you hang it on your wall, the stone paper is probably a good alternative, according to the website. Anyway, so I make a mess on this. And here's the thing. People think non-representational art is that people think it's really easy. It's not easy. It's not cheating. I can't really do it. For me, there has to be something there. It has to be like a focal point of some kind. And I know a lot of people make a good living making art that doesn't have a focal point, but like, I don't know, I can't get over this hurdle. It definitely takes more skill than you think it does. And I always want to try pouring acrylic paint art and things like that, but I never know what to do with them after, because I've never been able to create anything that looks like an artistic piece to me. And so I start to use different media on this. I started just like drawing random things and using the underlying layers to make up the color of that thing. I'm drawing like a girl with some fish and some leaves. Like, it doesn't really make any sense. There isn't a setting. And what I ended up doing is I started using thick gouache paint to obscure the background and pull out highlights, and it's just a lot. I'm mostly just playing with this paper, and I didn't really go in with a very good, well planned out idea or a piece, so that's what you get. It's the art equivalent to you get what you pay for. You get what you plan for. And if you don't plan, you end up with this. And a lot of people would probably like it. Like, I like the colors. I really like how the corners turned out, with the way the colors kept changing, and the abstract leaves. I kind of dig those. As a textural piece, I really like it, but as like an actual like storytelling art piece, I'm not really sold on it. And I'm not really sure that I learned much of anything doing this, other than the fact that maybe like plastic unique surfaces aren't really my thing. I think my problem is I keep trying to make my art using different supplies and expecting it to go smoothly. And honestly, sometimes even if I'm trying to make art with my own supplies, doing things that I'm really used to, it doesn't always turn out. Because like I said, you get what you plan for. So yeah, I ended up with whatever this is, and the colors are great. And I really appreciate being able to try acrylic ink again, and I feel like I have gotten more of a handle on it in this go around than previous go around, so that's something. I guess less is more on this kind of surface for sure. This particular paper also claims to be like non-warping. It doesn't warp that much, which is probably true if you're using it as a regular person. If you're using a heat gun on it, I did notice that it would bubble up quite a lot. It was kind of like the opposite of watercolor paper, where you heat it up and it flattens out. This kind of has the opposite, but as it cools down, it actually sinks back down, so just be careful with the heat gun. Let me know in the comments if you have just happened to been able to try this specific one, or what you've been able to accomplish with any of the plastic papers that are out on the market right now. Thank you for watching my little struggle, and I'll see you next time.